It's been about 6 months since our Washington Post colleague Jamal Khashoggi was murdered in Istanbul. In that time, the U.S.-Saudi relationship has been rocked, and many aspects of that relationship are on hold, pending answers from Riyadh, from the government headed by Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince, that still haven't come. What I found in my reporting was that some members of the team that was sent to Istanbul to kidnap and then to kill Khashoggi were trained in the United States. Not trained to do this operation, but trained in special operations and other skills. I found that our intelligence agencies have put out a warning that some of this training may have been done by an Arkansas-based company called Tier 1 Group. I found that another company called Culpeper National Security Solutions, which is owned by a larger company called DynCorp, which in turn is owned by a larger company called Cerberus Capital Management, has been working for the last several years to develop a program to train and modernize the Saudi intelligence service. That project was put on hold. The person who had been chairman of Culpeper, Michael Morrell, a former acting director of the CIA, withdrew from the project within days after Khashoggi's death because of his questions about the course of Saudi Arabia. This is an incestuous world. The co-chief executive of Cerberus Capital Management is a man named Steven Feinberg, who is also, in his spare time, the chairman of the President's Intelligence Advisory Board, which is the most senior oversight and counseling body that looks at all the activities of U.S. intelligence. I was told that Feinberg had divested all of his interests in companies owned by Cerberus that are involved in defense or intelligence matters before the Khashoggi killing. There's no connection there. But his role in this raises interesting questions about how our intelligence agencies are overseen. The idea of training the Saudis makes sense. This is a country that faces serious terrorism threats. It's been an ally of the United States for 75 years. The issue that my reporting raises is that when we try to help allies deal with real problems, sometimes the technologies and training that we provide are misused. The final thing that I found in my reporting was I was able to draw a clearer picture than we've had before of what happened when my colleague Jamal Khashoggi walked into the Saudi consulate in Istanbul on October 2nd. The transcript of the recording of the audio that was captured by a bug placed inside the Saudi consulate in Istanbul by Turkish intelligence was read by two sources I talked to. One, a Saudi source, gave me a detailed reconstruction of what that transcript says. This source believes that the transcript shows that this began as a kidnapping attempt. Khashoggi walked into the consulate and he was immediately confronted by the leader of the team, a colonel in Saudi intelligence named Maher Mutreb, who he'd known from the time in the early 2000s when they were both stationed at the Saudi embassy in London. Mutreb, according to the transcript, said, "You're coming back with us." Khashoggi responded, "No, I'm not," and resisted. There was a squabble. At some point, the transcript says, Khashoggi was injected with something. A bag was then placed over Khashoggi's head. And Khashoggi screamed, "I can't breathe. I have asthma. Don't do this." Those were essentially his last words. What caused his death, whether it was an overdose of this sedative, whether it was asphyxiation and choking, the transcript doesn't say, and we don't know. You later hear the sound of buzzing in what people have speculated was an electric saw as the pieces of our colleague's body were dismembered in the consulate and then later disposed in ways that we still don't understand. These were the last moments of somebody who bravely had tried to speak the truth about the leadership of his country, Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince, and paid a terrible price.